Hey everybody, this oddball here is an Evergo hugger. Um, this is from 1984, and I got this one yesterday from the salvage store. You probably saw the video that it was featured in, of the fans and stuff at the salvage store. Um, and this one has a little bit of a story. Um, so I got it, and well, first of all, it's an Evergo hugger, but you may notice that it has the really weird housing. It's that sort of escalloped, ribbed, concave housing. It's like, it's really strange. It's a very strange design. Um, yeah, it's not like, the vents are kind of generic, but other than that, it's pretty unique. Um, the blades are plain. It's an antique brass finish. Yeah, the blades are plain on both sides. And it does have the large orange cast motor. I believe it's cast iron. Um, and I believe the motor in these are made by Union. I'm not entirely sure, but it's the same exact motor that's in the ornate GE vents that I have, both the remote controlled and the analog pull chain version. So it's from around that same exact era as those. And it's one of the earliest huggers that they made, from what I can tell. And this version has appeared a few times. The version with the escalloped housing like that. There's, I think, one in the museum, or there may have been one in the museum. I don't know if it's still there or not. I don't think it is, because I think it was Dan's. Because Dan has one in polished brass. These have shown up in polished brass and antique brass. I don't think they've shown up in white. But yeah, Dan has one. Chandru has one. Um, Fan of Vacuums 2 has one. And then there might be another one floating around somewhere. But then I've got this one. So yeah, there's a few out there, but these are pretty uncommon, from what I can tell. Yeah, this one is in pretty good condition. Um, One of the blades has like a chip missing. It's actually the blade on the left front there. You can kind of see it. The end of it has like a piece missing out of the veneer. Um, Not a huge deal, but the fun part came when I took it home from the salvage store yesterday, and I noticed that the screws for the blade arms, because they take the blades off and they tape the blades together and stick them on the back, and they screw the blade screws into the motor. Those had been screwed all the way in, and I remember that the windings on these are kind of close to the end bells of the motor inside, I believe. So these run the risk of, when you do that, you run the risk of destroying the windings if the motor spins, if you screw the screws in all the way. Um, these had that problem. SMCs had that problem, and yeah, that's just really, when you have a spinner motor, you don't ever want to screw the screws in all the way if there's no blades on it, just like in case that's how the windings are, just for safety, I guess. But yeah, so I thought, well, the motor's dead, because I tested it, and when I first tested it, it acted really weird. It was only spinning in reverse. The reverse switch had no effect whatsoever, and it was spinning really slow. I did oil the bearings, and it sped up a little bit, but not a whole lot, not like to normal speed. Um, and then I measured the current, and it drew 1.6 amps. It is rated at 1.2 amps. So I thought, oh god, the motor must be dead. So I thought, well, I guess I need a new motor now. Um, I hadn't even looked at any of the rest of the fan. So a bunch of my friends suggested that I should take a closer look, and so I did, and I'm really glad I did, because I found that the motor was not dead, and this was actually the culprit right here. This is, if I can get it to focus. There you go. This is probably one of the worst capacitor failures I've ever seen. I noticed first that it was leaking some stuff out of the top here, and then I took it out and I noticed the giant bubble on the side. So yeah, that is not supposed to be there. It's a multi-value cap, so I changed it with two caps. I used a 4.75 microfarad and a 2.5 microfarad capacitor. And it uses, like, I think both of those in series for, or yeah, something like that. It uses both values tied together for high speed, I think. So yeah, that is, I got it working, thankfully, and the motor was not dead, so I'm really, really glad that this motor is still good. Yeah, other than that, I forgot to check the model number of it. It's on the inside of the motor mount, like the way these mount. It's almost like a Hunter, the older Hunter low profile. So there's a big flat round mounting bracket, and the motor has a like round plate that bolts up onto three studs, and the mounting or the information's tag is on the inside of that little plate. So I will put that model number in the description. But anyway, I guess now I will just go ahead and turn the fan on. So let's start it up on high. And yes, it is very noisy. These are known to be pretty loud. They aren't the best quality motors, so it's probably just like a little bit out of round or something. And that's why these were all noisy. They're probably just all a little bit out of round, because it does have a bit of a cyclic buzz. Surprisingly not as bad on high. It gets worse on the lower speeds. And performance-wise, it's actually quite a decent performer. You know, I was expecting it to be pretty good with that cast orange motor, but you know, it's a hugger, so you never know. But it is moving the air. Medium. And low. There's a pull chain extension on it. I don't think you can see it, but it's just like a length of chain that doesn't have an end on it, a pendant or anything. And that came with the fan. So it's pretty loud on low speed. It's just that cyclic buzz I mentioned. Low speed is kind of fast, which I've heard and seen that that's kind of typical for these. But you could always put it on a speed control and make it go slower. And it's not terrible. Definitely functional though. I can still feel quite a bit of air from it. Alright. Back to high. Spindown. Interested to see how the bearings will do, since I did have to oil them. Hey, that's not bad actually. I didn't see a whole lot of kickback. Bearings seem to be fine. So yeah. Now I'm gonna reverse it. Find the reverse switch. And the other thing, when I replaced the capacitor, reverse came back to working, or obviously it was stuck in reverse before, but forward came back to working. So now it works on all 3 speeds in both directions. It's still pretty noisy in reverse. I'm not sure if this would be a good bedroom fan. Medium speed. And high. So there was a little bit of wobble in forward, I noticed, but it seems like there's none in reverse. So that's pretty good. Alright. There we go. So now, show you this cool thing up close. So here's a nice up close shot of that weird motor housing shape. It's almost shaped like a canopy, like, you know, that, but it's got the ribs and it's just a lot larger. It's very, very cool. I love it. I love the design. And then the vents, like I said, are pretty much just generic hugger vents. The vent screen is still there, but there's one part right there that's been like punched through. Somebody stuck their finger through it or something. Not a huge deal. Not too concerned about that. And then, of course, on the nose, you've got your classic Evergo green sticker, which these all had. And then there's also the one under the reverse switch there, which some of them had. Not all of them did, but this one does. So, very, very cool. Like I said, the model tag is actually like up underneath here, but you can see the big mounting bracket. And this thing is in like 2 pieces. It's like an outer rim, a ring here that this actual curved piece is bolted to, which is pretty cool. Yeah, and then this pull chain extension is just perfectly blank. Just a single length of chain. Oh, and then the blades, like I said, plain on both sides. Exact same finish. It's like this faux oak. And then where's the one that was broken or has a broken piece? I'll probably flip this one around, or maybe flip them all around. I don't know. There are some paint splatters on them, but I'm not too concerned with it. It's just a cool fan. It's really loud. I'm not sure if I'm gonna like ever install it anywhere, like permanently. It's just a fun one that I've always really wanted to have ever since I first saw videos of it on YouTube. So that is the very, very strange Evergo 52-inch hugger with the concave ribbed escalloped motor housings. Thank you guys so much for watching as always, and I'll see you in the next video.